fill it out. You don't have that much real estate up top. I just have very thick hair. So it's raggedy. It's raggedy. It's all. I never had any body in my hair. Mom used to get frickin' permanents in the 80s. You get permanents and they'd get all curly, and she didn't like how curly it was, so she'd straighten it all out. And I'm like, why would you even get the permanent? She did that a few times. It always comes out the same. Oh, it's supposed to be more relaxed. Well, when they use rods that little, that ain't a relaxed curl. They lied to you, Ma. Anyway, hello, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heoc empath. Being empathic sucks. People think it's cute and it's fun and I feel other people's. No, dude, not on the world and the planet this day and age. It sucks, man. Everybody's freaking reeling from some shit. Either that or they're so ignorant they're all blissed out. I saw a lady at the coffee shop today. I have a lot of coffee shop stories. I could already tell. And she freaking, the other guys I was there with, the one is like, welcome to Taos. Taos like house, because I always say Teos. But it's not pronounced how it sounds. Anyway. And the woman had freaking, like, Hawaii plates. She had her freaking shipped, her shit, they moved here, well, just for part of the year. What the fuck? How do these people have all these houses all over the place? And they never really do anything. But they have houses everywhere, and they just get to go around and live in different parts of the country. You know, without any ever really, Anyway, so we were talking and it'd be like, freaking, dude, you should have just sold your car and bought another one here. Because to ship your car from Hawaii to the States, that itself is like the cost of a freaking vehicle. But people have so many abundant resources, they just get to piss shit away every day. Just piss it away, it don't matter. Just wasted on a bunch of nonsense. I've been watching, I don't think it's direct, this is completely my perception, but I was watching Michael the Peace Dealer earlier, and I like what he's like, people talk shit about him all the time. He gets a lot of flack. That's why I don't mind that my tube isn't very big and that I'm a Heoka and I'll never be freaking famous and a big deal and super popular, because I freaking can't, that kind of press annoys me. That kind of scrutiny. People always freaking talking shit and, I don't need that on that grand of a schedule. So he does these little videos that are skittish. They're like skits and they just crack me up. And one of them is today. It was like, oh, you're dating your ex-girlfriend again? And he's like, no, man, that ain't my ex-girlfriend. But it was a spoof because he's making fun of people, I think it's funny when people have a type. I think it's personally fun. I don't have a type person. Well, I kind of have a type, but I don't just keep it at that type, Although the older I get, I am getting way more freaking picky. I'm just like, I don't know if God made somebody in this incarnation to match the other parts of me. Yeah, I haven't met any yet. I'm kind of a handful. So, what else happened? It was funny. I was telling Mom, I come home and I tell Mom about the stories that, like there's this one older guy there. I like when people tell me about me. It cracks me up. When they tell me about how I am. And it's just like, dude, I got over 1,500 videos about me talking about my freaking behavior in all of its spectrum, from my shitty behavior to my finer moments, all the way back to my, my not so proud moments. I'm all of it. I disclose everything on this too. And so I just think it's funny when people tell me about me. Because not a lot of people. This guy was like probably 70, you know? I'm like, I know more about me because I've been me for 47 years, for 48 years, you know? And then you have people that like to, based on their perception, you know? That's cool. That's cool. I'm surprised. I'm sure I could do the same. And I don't really say. I don't tell people about them unless they start telling me about me. You know what I mean? But I don't just go around. The way people behave is just so weird to me. It's bizarre. There's like this whole large percent of the population of the planet that is just in denial. I was talking today to a woman. And we were talking about like alcoholism and the pain that people are trying to cover up with alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. And this storyline about freaking fathers doing freaking pervy things to their daughters, it is so much more prevalent. It is so much bigger than people ever will care to admit. It happens a lot. And I think my personal take on it is, I think it's because guys were never they were always curious about it, women's anatomy, but they never got to know about it. I don't know, it's just weird that there's just this whole society has been created, to cater to all these perverts. It's really weird to me. And they're all protected. No, we can't let people know that they did that because that would be oh so terribly embarrassing if the whole world that they knew that they were a disgusting pig. I freaking, even around town, I've been with people and they're like, oh, he's a pedophile. Oh, he's a pedophile. Oh, and his, all over the media, there's that girl out in California, that walked across the stage and she wore a sign that said rapists should not be allowed to graduate. And it's just like there's all these sexual predators in the whole... And I know they're everywhere. I know they're everywhere. But the thing of it is we have this mentality of these people that they're ostriches, right? And they don't believe stuff like that happens. Even though that they've seen the evidence and it's verifiable. See, I got raped when I was a 10-month-old baby. I don't know the specific details of it, like where my parents were and all that stuff like that. I did, however, read the police report when I was 13 years old, 14 years old. And they put it all in such clinical terms and stuff like that. And I was just like always, maybe that's why my hip has always popped the way it does, because it really fucks with your pelvis and your the gant of your walk and stuff like that. It does, babies aren't supposed to be done like that. And in the media the other day, I saw a story about happened to an 8-month-old baby. I'm like, why is this a storyline that even fucking exists? Because people have sold out and protect perverts, and they're protecting the perverts because they get paid off. And then you have people like that, because my own brother, he's just like, with all the trials and tribulations I've had in my life, he's a fucking lawyer high up in the government in California. He just slid into his freaking perfect life because he's a good-looking guy, Hasn't had a whole lot of trials and tribulations because he's a good-looking guy and he's smart too. So he's a lawyer and he's just kind of bounced back and forth working in the state system because that's what my uncle did. He worked in the state. My dad worked in the state system. They're just kind of people that just kind of hang out, freaking absorbing freaking exorbitant paychecks and not really ever doing much of anything, right? And then they go around telling people things like, that doesn't happen. Suck it up. Get your life together and all this stuff. And I'm just like, dude, I had never been a parent. I never want, and being the caregiver to, hanging out with mom. That puts things that puts a little extra twist on things like that. But you have, the society full of these people that have never done much of freaking anything themselves, and they're just like telling all these people sinking, just go ahead and freaking get your life together, just take care of it. But you guys are the ones that are full of the systems that are so broken that people can't ever get to, and create all these laws and rules and regulations that I think I'm pretty convinced are created to keep people from being helped. Right? You ready for the whatnot? You ready for the crazy? You ready for the, I don't know when the peak of it is, but I know there's the rainbow gathering is happening about 3 miles from where I live. And they used to convene up in freaking Northern California and Redding, all the rainbow gatherings here, right? You know, bunch of hippies hanging out, freaking, you know, maybe they'll clean up after themselves, but evidently history dictates that they haven't, but people always, they're allowed to change. So I was going to go up over there and see what some of these people are about and stuff, you know. I always get excited about going and doing that, and then I go around the people and I'm just like, it's not any fucking fun, man. It's not any fun. People ruin everything. But maybe the hippies are different because maybe they're not a bunch of fakes and phonies and stuff like that. But I don't know. It feels like the world is just yearning for authenticity. You know, but for authenticity and real and truth and all that stuff, people got to realize, you can't just say, oh, that stuff doesn't happen in the world, you know, because there's freaking, I saw on Pornhub, a CEO had like, I don't know, evidently anybody can upload a porn movie to Pornhub. And they took out like 80,000, because dude, how much of that stuff is like, you know, somebody is that is not consensual. You know what I like? But they put it up, but you know what I mean? But then they put it under rough or something like that. It's just, it's like, dude, it's right in people's faces. And no wonder freaking, you know, women want to be men and men want to be women. Freaking, that is freaking ruin people in itself. The whole porn industry, man. See, I'm old-fashioned. I think people should hang out. I think people should date. I think people should court. I think they should go to freaking ice cream socials and go dancing and do all that stuff without freaking getting naked and chasing sensations. People are in too much of a rush. And then if it feels real good, then people are like, you know, it's like a magic voodoo hex spell. And the person that needs to fill their empty spaces with that ooh so dirty freaking, you know, sex magic stuff, they're like, you know, forever energetically entwined because they're chasing sensations. Because we have a whole society of people that don't know how to find peace in themselves. So they're forever looking constantly peace in all the materialistic stuff, man. Materialism, I can't stand materialistic people. And first thing, what do you notice? People's cars. You know, people drive fucking Audis, make my third eye twitch. Freaking BMW, some asshole. Freaking dude, if you're gonna come in my lane, turn, you know, and you're like 8 feet from me, turn on your blinkers, stupid. But people just don't care because don't you see you just better get out of their way, because don't you know who they are? BMW, they're just shit cars anyway. I can't fucking stand BMWs. As a freaking mechanic point of view, you have these little stupid sports cars that is just like, dude, the engine compartments, I mean, the engineering is just nonsense. I like old cars, classic cars, where there's plenty of room. The big red truck, you about climb in the engine well, you know? You have room to move, but they ruined everything, and now everything's getting hacked. So when is that going to start happening? People are going to start hacking cars and crashing cars and stuff like that. When's that going to start happening? See, perception is reality. And so you have all these people that are like, no, presidents aren't perverted cokeheads that go around hunting kids in Montana and stuff like that, and Mount Shasta. That doesn't happen, you know. Instead of having those people, you're having the rest of the percentage, more and more people know that storyline to be true. Because as time goes on, you have these egomaniacal people that do weird shit. They like when people talk about what they do when it gets out and about. It makes them feel good, because it's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to act like this right in front of your face. And what is anybody going to do about it? I was getting all worked up listening to Right on Radio. This guy was talking, and I'm just like, all these systems have been allowed. People have been, politicians have been trafficking human beings as long as there's been governments, as long as there's been people in power and control, and it's never changed. Yet they give themselves the authority to change things, but, it's just a circle. It's like they have all these topics, and it's on a lazy Susan. I see all these topics on in a bowl, and you have like abortion, and you have like marijuana legalization. You have all these things that in a heartbeat they can make a decision and, just like handle everything, but no. They gotta freaking spin the lazy Susan around, and then maybe they'll dabble in this bowl, and then they'll turn the lazy Susan. It was just like that when I was in IT in these big projects, is that they would never actually finish anything. Because you don't want to finish too much, because then you make your job obsolete, right? So they just kind of work a little bit over here and a little bit over here, but it's like moving pots around on the stove. They never actually finish anything. And they do that, that's what they're designed to do, but then they designate all these resources. We need all this money. We need $1 gazillion to support the infrastructure in the towns in which we live. And what they did is they freaking bought themselves big shiny trucks. They started paying themselves 6 figures and pensions and all this stuff. And they never did the work. They didn't do the work. And that happened in California. That happened in all 50 states. It's happened all over. And they kept paying themselves, but they never done the work. Like, they should have been doing land management this whole entire time. They didn't do the work, and now we're about to hit fire season. Now, little, too late. I'm one of those that believe that, karma is real. Karma is a very real thing in this country. Has been. I think about how many. I wonder if like the exact ground total of how many people in other countries died because Americans went over there freaking butting in when they had no business. Doing shit had nothing to do with us. That's how this country was founded on. Oh yeah. When colonists came over and said, we're gonna civilize you people. We're gonna control you and wipe out your population and freaking manipulate you and take your land and introduce alcohol and yeah. You're going to be our little bitches. Yeah. And they've been doing that ever since. And what? People don't think... And people are like, oh, this is the greatest country in the world. I'm like, for why? No, you're anti-American. No, I'm anti-freaking control freak. I love this land. I've lived all over this land. I got this one today. It's a Nebraska glass. Because one of my favorite supporters... Now, I got one for all the states that we've lived in. This is Nebraska. Look, Boys Town. That is a human trafficking hub of all of its own. Omaha's dirty little secret. But think about how many people made money from it. So people just don't talk about it. You know what? I'm so tired of freaking society consequences not coming out. They just don't. They're forever going to be protected. Hey. The last president, he was a Jesuit too. It's a circle of greed. It's a circle of greed. None of them is going to do nothing to fix nothing. So start to get comfortable. Move to where you want to be. Move to the climate in which you want to live. And you better plan accordingly because things are changing. Dude, earthquakes, volcanoes potentially erupting in Tahoe and stuff like that. Yeah. Reading is 111 today. Sacramento's pretty hot. Omaha hit 100 today too, I think. So really find where you want to be and try and make friends, man. Because it's just that's our best chance is to freaking try and be comfortable in the local area in which you live and try and make friends, and freaking allies and stuff. Because the supply chain, more and more stuff every time I go to the store, more and more stuff is off the shelf. But there's more and more empty shelves. I get potty pads, right? 2 times in a row, and I go different times. But what I would do, I would ask them the schedule, but you don't always know when they're going to get the delivery. There were no fans, absolutely no fans in the fan row. You know what I mean? And we're on a rural area. I mean, there ain't I think the closest Espanola, it's about 40 miles, 40 minutes south. Took me about 40 minutes to get there. And that's the closest place where they have a box store, a Lowe's. That's where I got the ACs. You know? But when you live in small, and people, they're not making this stuff like they did, because people, stimulus package for big companies, they're way better, Oh, you're in troubled times, tax breaks, all this stuff, and they don't pay taxes anyway, big, huge billionaires, they don't pay taxes, you silly. That's just for all the little people. So a lot of people took the money and then just stopped and closed up shop, stopped up production, So a lot of stuff that is just not going to be there. It's just not going to be there. I mean, and it's so funny because people are getting all mad about, the China virus and all that stuff, and it's like, but people got no problem freaking buying everything that says made in China. So it's like, shut up. Can't complain about that. Fucking people are so dumb, man. People really are not very smart. They're not. There are a lot of people that are in trouble. I see it every day. Just when I'm seeing them, like today at the post office, I was watching a lady pack up something to mail, and I was just watching how, of all the ways to tape the box, that the way she opted to do it, it was just really different. And we live in a world where all these people have different ideas of how things they think they should be, right? So all these people are trying to make things. I wonder if people just went, all right, hands off. All right, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. We're going to clear the kitchen. Yeah, if people just would But this storyline in DC, it's come on, man. Everybody knows it's scripted. Everybody knows it's theater. If they don't now, I mean, do people really even think elections are they're still a thing? Yeah, because every time elections come around, I see on my Facebook feed, I voted today. You wasted your time on an ideology that freaking doesn't exist. It's all an illusion. You think people really freaking... Dude, I've been a part of a lot of federal agencies. Federal employees, they don't really do much. They're not very motivated. After I got out of it, I got out because I knew it was bullshit. I knew what it was freaking... I'm not giving these people 20 years of my life. The military is shit, and I wish that people would stop letting and encourage you and your family, your loved ones, and your children, because it's a system. It might not, they might go off and come back, but there's a realization that soldiers come to, and some of us come to it earlier than others, because there's a lot of them that buy into the idea because they want it to be. They want it to be this great, noble thing. But I heard stories after 14 years, so 20 years, because I did 6, then I got out, but I'd still hear about how things were. People don't like working. They freaking make appointments just to be gone out of the shop, coming at 7, working. Where's so-and-so? Who knows? Nobody ever, people pencil whip stuff. So it's like for people like me that's why I went into the Air Force, because I wanted to be a part of rules and regulations, because my whole world up until that point it never existed. I always saw in every situation, in every room, if there was somebody in charge, I would see how some people would be treated good in school. Everywhere, some people would be treated good, but then some people would be treated really bad. And I never understood who got to choose. And then I started noticing The world is contingent on who's in charge and how they feel that day. And you have somebody that feels small, you know, their freaking wife doesn't love them anymore because they're a freaking fat slob piece of shit. You know, their kids don't listen to them. You know, there's all these reasons why people just like freaking give up in life, you know. All you gotta do is put a little effort in. But it's just easier to freaking give up because I that's why I was like in the chat and right on radio today, I was just like, dude, you know, because there's this level of evil that has been allowed to exist for so long, fucking Satan's been winning, man. People have and Satan, and you know how Satan wins? By freaking, you know, people just being freaking greedy, selfish, freaking rich assholes. That's how Satan wins. People being withholding, you know? Just not helping. Just all that, I don't want to. All that stuff. How many people ran into somebody this week that it was a customer service situation and the freaking person talked to you in a kind of way? The people that talk to people now, the way they talk to people is just freaking what? You must think I'm somebody else. It's getting weird out there, man. And it's not even like August. That's when the hot stuff is really coming out. When temperatures really start flaring and stuff like that. Meditation. That's freaking... That's my saving grace. It's because if I can plug into God, source, creator, whatever... Because I pray all the time. I'm always praying. You know, but that's how I get my receiving is meditation. Because I can ask all day long, but God gives me the power to freaking give me the ideas to do what, you know, and I fail a lot. A lot of my ideas that don't land. Because I'm not a broad demographic. I'm for a very small group. It's taken me over 4 years and I can't even get 1,000 subs because I don't even know. I guess ask the people that don't sub. You know, but people I know, people on my Facebook page and stuff like that, I see them like, I remember there's one gal, we've been friends for a long time. She got married a couple years ago and messaged me, you know, I was invited. I was like, well, thank you, I can't make it, kind of thing. And she's like, that's cool, I wanted you to know, you know. And like, she would share like that rainbow Randy ass hat and shit like that. And I'm just like, these people evidently think I'm a freaking crazy nut job because people on my Facebook page, they don't share any of the talks that I talk about. You know, and I take that personally, and it hurts my feelings because I feel like that people, you know, that I say good stuff, but evidently because of their negativity, all they're hearing me is negative, and people don't, you know, I'm perceived how people are. That's why I think it's funny when people tell me about me because they're telling me because they're seeing they're seeing the parts in me that they don't like about themselves. So they're just telling me the parts about how it's just fucking Psych 101, man. This stuff is like elementary. And I do the same thing. Yeah, I can. I have the potential to do the same thing. I can be a freaking jerk, man. And people get freaking offended, but I'll just be like speaking in matters and facts in which I think are facts, and people are just like... I'm like, dude, the offense is all yours, man. I don't choose to get offended, and people freaking intentionally say shit to me to freaking be annoying. It's weird. But everything is in my eye. The eye of the beholder. I am the beholder. So when like earlier when I went out, I was just like, God, everything sucks. Music sucks. People suck. You know? It's just, why is everything so sucky? And then I was like, oh, Marge, because your attitude right now sucks. So why don't you adjust your attitude because you're the one that is perceiving as everything to be sucky? What would the fucking world be if most of the world was accountable like that? I can only imagine, because I don't think people are up for it. I don't see accountability. I don't see people freaking, dude, and you know, like, today they're like, oh, people are like that here. No, it's not here. I've lived in 5 states now. People are like that everywhere. People are just really freaking, they live right here. And most of the time, they're just thinking about themselves. You know, and how they can get that freaking fancy car and that big house and that freaking hot chick and that hot dude with the big wiener and all that other stuff. All that stuff that doesn't even matter. You know, how many people freaking, you know, how many of these sluts, boys and girls freaking at the end of their life are like, what was my total number? How many times did I bone down? You know? No, most of the time people are like, God damn, my life was really fucking empty. A lot of people have lived the same day over and over and over. And then, you know, at some day you're coming to a point, you know, whether you're almost getting a car, you know, but there's points that people's freaking lives flash before their eyes, and it's not always at the end of it. Sometimes it's in the middle. You know, in this last year, people have had nothing but time to reflect. So what did they do? You know, it begs the question, what do people do? Like, you know, I started asking 4 or 5 years ago when I moved to Oregon. I became unemployable. 60, almost 70 jobs I did not get. I got turned down in like a 6-month period. I'm like, dude, you're going to have to freaking help sustain me, because evidently, you know, that's when my freaking glasses really started coming off about stuff. That was a huge step in my ascension and my wake up. See, we're born with all this knowledge. We're kids, they're born with knowing everything. They just came from source via mom's hoo-ha. They just came from God, so they got all the answers. They got all the knowing, and they're here to come and teach us. But you know what the adults do? That doesn't happen. No, that's not real. You know, you have Billy and whatnot. Freaking, you know, Grandpa came to see me last night, and you know, and that was an actual experience to the kid. And then the adult's like, that didn't happen. He's dead. You know, and then shut that down, and then it stifles the spirit. Impose lives. Then they start indoctrinating freaking, you know, kids with school and all this other bullshit. You know? And I've been to a lot of schools. I had a lot of teachers. When I was in the 6th grade, I went to 4 schools and didn't go to school for 7 weeks. That was a hard year for me. I bet that was a hard year for a lot of people. That was 87, 86. Yeah. I was 12 years old. That was the first time I went on an airplane ride. I was supposed to go from Redding to San Francisco to Phoenix. And what happened was there's an airplane in Eureka that had a flat tire, so we had to go to Eureka. So by the time we got to San Francisco, I missed my connecting flight. I'm 12 years old. I've never flown before. I had to figure it out at the San Francisco airport. You know? I've had all this like crazy experience and shit like that. Life experience. And I see these people that freaking, you know, that can't handle basic freaking life task. And I'm just like, dude, if the poles flip, you know, we get hit by any number of things, people are fucked. They are. Because people are inept. They're just not. I know my generation, I'm 47, 48. I know a lot of people had kids, fucking enabled the fuck out of them. Did everything for them. They ain't going to be around all the time. Hope they learn how to figure it out, you know? You know, people need to be needed and put a reliance on themselves, and then that's gone. Other people are like, oh shit, I don't know. I guess people, I guess if things get too hard, you know, the real good looking chicks and dudes can go back to taking stuff out and trade. They used to do that in the 70s a lot. Women couldn't freaking, you know, mechanics would take advantage of women who couldn't pay because they jack up the prices. You know, they're these simple. It's one of the reasons why I always wanted to learn how to be a mechanic. So you know, you can't freaking rip me off. I know what's wrong with my shit. You know, I will tell you what's wrong with my shit, except with the big red truck, but that was a computer thing, I think. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with the engine. But see, those fucking computers run anything, and there's not even a need for them. It's just that a computer company can make a lot of money for it. Oh, I wonder what the earth could be if people mattered more than money. But until more than 50.1% of the population of the earth, you know, come to some realization of a connection to a source greater than themselves, outside of themselves, a bigger part of the whole, it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. So I guess how bad the world gets, you know, I used to think that it's because I'm pretty balanced. I can get out of balance real easy. I get worked up and stuff, you know. But most of the time I'm pretty even keel because people like me, the highs can't get too high and the lows can't get too low. It just ain't good for, no. So, I don't know, just I I worry for a lot of people. My heart, it freaking hurts for a lot of people that are freaking still think that, like, this idea of this imposed reality, you know, I've been having a hard time with all the stuff that because I got duped too, you know. Like, I keep deleting music out of my shuffle because I find out what these people really are. And the reality of it is I like a song, I like a music, you know, because usually I hear it. Like, the first time I hear it, I'm like in a like I'm with friends. I'm hey, oh yeah, it has a good beat, you know, that kind of thing. It's not really has very little to do with the artist, but you know, but some of these people and their rituals and stuff like that, I'm just like, nah, because I feel like shit every time I listen to fucking Lady Gaga now, you know, because she's freaking and I thought she was cool because, you know, the things that we think. But maybe she is, but that is not the storylines I have gotten. Heck, I even liked Marina Abramovich before I knew about all the, I mean, but because I'm an artist, and so as an artist perspective, and I hear about her horrific story, you know, about her controlling parents and stuff like that, I got a bleeding heart, you know, I can sympathize with with the most wicked of the wicked, you know, but the thing of it is there's behaviors that I can't. You don't get to harm things. You don't get to freaking take. You don't. I am just such a free spirit that anything controlling, and you know, we're in a very controlled environment. Didn't get to eat sugar. They said weird. How weird is? I don't know anybody else that's happened to. A lot of weird shit happened in Morro Bay and Atascadero. By the time I was 8, because they always tested me for shit. So by the time I was 8 or 9, I had 2 glucose tolerance tests. That's like an 8-hour, 7-hour test where they freaking constantly draw blood. Now I wonder what they're really drawing the blood for. You know what I mean? Morro Bay is weird. Anyway, but so they said we didn't, and then they said, because I had like a lump in my lymph node. I remember I was probably 3 or so, and they're like, what they said, I was allergic to cats. And then it was like, no, it wasn't. Oh, you're allergic to milk, so it was no dairy, no sugar. That's not fun. So I was, you know, I'm learning how to read at 7, you know, and I'm reading labels because corn syrup is sugar too, and high fructose is sugar too. You know? It's just, it's just weird to me that some people are so vast and some people, they just got a little itty bitty scope. You know, they just live in the same, you know, go to the same job every day. I would have loved that security. I had it for a little while. It was so uncomfortable, dude. I was tech support. I still am for 5D. But, like, I got freaking sick of having to fucking clean pornography off these fucking VP and salesmen's freaking computer laptops and stuff like that, and they never got in trouble with it. They never got in trouble. I'm like, dude, why do I gotta look at this shit? Dude, they made freaking 6 figures, so it's like, just go buy your own shit and do your own creepy, pervy shit on that. But no, that's what egos do. They want you to see. Oh no, well, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it right in front of you, and we're not gonna care because don't you know who we are? Yeah, you're the limp dick that fucking, you know, you ain't a man because you haven't seen your penis in 20 years without the aid of a mirror. But you want people to know that you are dominant and you are in control. But in real life, yeah, you feel small inside. Yeah. Ugh. I'm so gay. I'm so gay. I was like, hey, I was talking to this lady today. I'm like, hey, hairy ass. Bring that hairy swamp ass over here, sweat to hot cheeks. You know, I'm just like, oh my God. but these days, the freaking ladies aren't looking that great either, so I'm pretty much asexual at this point. Eh? Sexuality? Nah, I'll pass. People ruin everything, man. They really do. I just put that life force kundalini energy into other things, you know. I do a lot of sets. No, there's plenty of men that I love, like uncles and fathers, and I love them like that, not actually my own. I fucking hate Father's Day. Can they stop with the Mothers and Father's Day? Can they stop with the holiday, freaking the Hallmark, you know, Christmas? At this point, can we have a new calendar besides the Roman Catholic calendar? Something different. Because the way that it's been going hasn't been working. Yeah, Santa Claus is the first big lie. Abso-fucking-lutely. But I knew Santa was a lie because Santa never because we were always on a Greyhound bus on Christmas and Santa never delivered Christmas presents to the Greyhound bus. As good as I was, didn't happen. It's freaking, my parents just hated each other, so they wanted to make sure that everybody was miserable. That's why I was talking about the coffee shop today. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this world is about dodging getting sour. If you, at the end of the life, if you can just look back and just be like, I'm not a miserable, spiteful, hateful, vindictive asshole to everyone I meet. If you can be more good to people than you are freaking wicked, evil, withholding, spiteful, all that other lower vibrational freaking nonsense, things could change. We'll see. Hi, Carl. Yeah, and I don't. I'm like, dude, you can lie to your kids. I'm not going to lie to your kids. Santa's not real. Santa's not real. And on my Facebook page, people are like, oh, yes, he is. Oh, the idea of it is? Really? Then I tell them a few things that happened to me. Is this real too? And they're like, I'm just like, no, Santa's not real. It's all about money, man. It's all about money. I gotta struggle. I struggle with that. Because I could people have said, you can keep yourself in poverty consciousness. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm a resourceful person. My ego does not need a freaking $70, $80, $90, $120,000 car. So I could drive around and be like, gee, I hope people like me because of the car that I drive. And people actually think like that. it's very shallow. It's very, it is weird. What? Or like the brands, their clothes, you know? It's like that's all they care about. I've known these people. It's like that's all they can talk about. But it's you ask them about how they feel about something, they don't fucking know. As long as they got retail therapy, I guess they're cool. It's weird. It's weird. So all I need is a few people out there to know that there are like-minded out there. It's just trying to get us all together. Carl, I was going to tell you, there's a place out here. And there's probably out there, they're probably all over, but this place is Veterans Off Grid, and they have plots of land, and they on Tuesday, they have Volunteer Tuesdays. I was going to go out and take a bunch of pictures and help them work on stuff. But that's all I want to do, is have a place where people can come travel. The only thing is, like, and I don't even like the idea of having rules, you know? Because I want people to have the freedom to do whatever they want. And then I think about it. You want a bunch of people coming, getting freaking drunk and wasted and trashing the place? No. So it'll be a freaking... You have all the cookies you want, all the flour you want. But I can't handle being around drunk people because I'm a drunk. And I like it. I think people get stuck in a frequency. They start drinking and they get stuck on a thought. That's why drunk people get so annoying when they just repeat themselves, because they literally, it's like it's anesthesia. Even chemically, the compound, there's only like 2 elements off, 1 or 2 between alcohol and ether. So it's fucking straight up poison. Alcohol's straight up freaking poison. But people are allowed to freaking do that, beat their wives, touch their kids, do whatever. But hey, that's okay because they were just drunk. That's you know. I just have a hard time with freaking and then people forget. You know, they get all they get all, you know, conviviality. Oh yeah, you know, their intentions get big. You know, I got a dinner invite last week. Old boy must have had too many because he fucking forgot. And I was like, well, I guess. He's like, oh, you want to come over and have tacos? I was like, yeah, right on. Tacos, that sounds rad. And I hadn't eaten. I was building a screen. And he's like, all right, I'll be over in a little while. Come get you. And I never came and just forgot. I was just like, but that fucking, what, you know, how do you... and I don't see the guy very often, but that just fucking makes shit weird and awkward. You know, what am I supposed to do? Just ignore it? You know? You know, if they invite you again, no, that's cool, I'm good. You know, I mean, what do you do with that? I don't... This shit happens to me all the time, man. You quit to buy... Wow! Do you feel better, Carl? That's rad. I was talking about how I quit smoking cigarettes, tobacco in 2010. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, respectful unity. But I like being around people. I freaking love being... Like, because we all... Like, when I was in the Air Force, I lived in dorms. Because we just always... It was just always me, Mom, and my brother, and he was just always off doing his own thing. He was not, like, a part of our... He didn't like us. So he would spend most of his time trying to get away from us, right, Mom? Pretty much. So, like, we were beneath him. We embarrassed him. I embarrassed him. But, what was I talking about? Yeah, just, you know, but so I always like, you know, I didn't do college dorm stuff like that, but being in the military, it's just like being in the college dorms. Except they're partying 20... Oh, I don't know if they were... I can't remember at Creighton if they partied 24/7. But they did it freaking in the dorms. Because there's people that work in all shifts and stuff anyway. So, but it was always cool to have, like, common areas where you could hang out with people and have talks, but then have your own room to go off to, you know? To have your own space to decompress and things like that. But always, you know, and I thought it would be fun to just have travelers come and go and you know, tell stories and exchange ideas and stuff like that, you know? In places where they'd have showers and, you know, amenities and things. But the freaking Airbnbs and all those places fucking ruined it, man. They also ruined it for freaking people that just want to rent and live in a house for, you know, and rent places. But, like, especially in really touristy place, man, you can't find a place to rent because it's all fucking... They want to rent their places for like $200 a night, you know, during the tour. It's just... God, I fucking hate money, man. I fucking really can't stand it. It's just, it's the root of all evil. It's not like evil wouldn't exist if money didn't exist, but it's still, man. And all that power stuff, God, it's just... Where was I today? The girl at the post office, when I went to go pick this up, I was standing in line with my little yellow slip, and the lady behind me was talking about how she had gone out for a bike ride because if she didn't, she was going to freaking kill some of her employees. That's the kind of tension in the air. And if you pay attention, like, we have the windows open, well, the fans are on now, but like the people, they usually freaking drive pretty fast on the main road out here anyway, but freaking it's like extra, and people are freaking putting their motorcycles in ditches, and it's all ego shit, man. People don't have that little voice. They're not listening to that. They have it. They're not listening to that little voice inside to err with caution. So, anyway, what else? I think that's about all I got. I've been running off my mouth for about 40 minutes now, maybe even closer to an hour. Longer than you. Yeah, that's the thing is my anger gets, when it gets hot, my anger, that's why I freaking shave my head up to here. And I freaking, now, what I've been going out, because I'll go out in the morning about 10, you know, like today I was gone from what, maybe 11 to 1? It's like 11 to 1 before it got too hot, because I didn't have the AC on when I left. So I was like thinking, you know, oh shit, it's going to be sweltering when I walk in that house. But it was comfortable, and tomorrow's going to be a little cooler, and then, you know, we're going to be at around 90 for, it's what I'm noticing, the energy pattern, it sits around 90. Good girl. And these guys are pretty comfortable, so, you know, and then the afternoon, it's just like we are all sequestered in here, because I got to be where the coolest spot is, because the dogs will be where I am. So if I want to hang in there, that ain't going to work, because it's cooler in here, and they need to be cool. So usually I charge up all my devices, and Mom's watching Longmire, and I'm just laying here under my Afghan with the fans and AC blowing, you know, and it keeps it comfortable enough in here so far, yeah. It's better than years past, so we're grateful. We're grateful. We don't care as long as we're all together, man. Oh, wow, you did that? Carl shaved off his beard after 20 years. He quit smoking tobacco, and he quit smoking the Mary Jane. I think about that. I taper off, and I quit. I didn't eat cookies when I made cookies one time in Arizona and stuff like that. And I just started making them with coconut oil, because butter is making me fat. Because I don't eat that much, but it's that butter, man. I just feel like butter is just butter. And I even use like unsalted, you know, like the plain stuff. And so I switched to coconut oil. I think they taste better. For some reason, I just don't think, in my mind, it could be a placebo, could not, you know, but I don't think they're as potent with the coconut oil, but I'll ask other people, because I gave probably 4 away today for people to try. I just like, usually people like them. Yeah, they don't suck. And they don't keep you from, well, for me, I don't know what they do to other, because a lot of guys that have been like lifelong stoners, you know, that are 50, 60, 70, they've always been stoners. And it's just like bedtime. You know, but it helps people sleep really good. And that, if I can give freaking people a good night's sleep, all right. At the end of my incarnation, when I think, you know, if I add more, Marge, did you add more positive or more minus in this incarnation? I'm gonna go ahead and venture to say I added more positive. So, anyway, I think that about sums it up. What do you think, Ma? You're halfway. I always put Mom to sleep when I do these talks. She's been listening to my stories for years and years, so I think it's my voice. My mom, it just got. Aw, thanks, Ma. Look at Tucker back there. He is freaking. Oh, I need new flowers. Wave, Ma! Wave! Wave, Ma! We're all shiny. We're glistening! Yeah, I hate... Well, see, and that's the thing is, like guidelines, that's good. But, I don't know, I just hate freaking... I don't want to be in control of nothing. I just want people to be respectful, don't trash the joint, and freaking don't be pervy out in public. You know, just like... And people, they don't have this common decency. They don't. Because most people have been desensitized. And then when you bring out drinking into it, oftentimes, you know, like I've seen this happen a lot. Like guys will, like I said earlier, they'll get it. They like, especially people that have guys and girls. This is not gender specific, but people will like they'll get a drunken seed planted. So they'll see somebody that like their first love when they were 15, right? But the guy's in his 30s. But he sees this girl that looks just like his first love, and so he goes right back there in his heart. Well, she's 15, dude. Or 6, you know, she's young. You know, I don't even think it's cool, these freaking young 20s and 40s and 50s. I think that fucking is gross to me. But the guys are all stoked because thank goodness for all the women with daddy issues, because then all these freaking old dudes would never, you know, have all these freaking hot young things on their arm, right? If it weren't for freaking all these girls with daddy issues. This society is so twisted and broke. I just hope people can freaking convalesce their heart, you know? I hope that people can, like, learn to respect themselves after being freaking so blatantly disrespected by hands that have touched you and things like that. Now, I'm pulling for... Somebody said today, is like, I inherently think people are mostly good. I don't. I think that they start out that good, but it'll only take 4 years, 5 years on this planet before people are starting to figure out how they can manipulate and control